Hello, and welcome to Star Trek Online. Once again, I am Bull, and we are continuing on with our Where I Play Star Trek Online, and once again, I'm back with Roger the Alien. So, as you may have noticed right off the bat here, there are balloons everywhere. It is Star Trek Online's 3rd year anniversary. There's a couple of different events, and you can get a free starship. But you need to be level 6 to do that. I have a walkthrough available, and there should be a little link on the screen somewhere for you to click and follow and check out the walkthrough if you're interested in seeing more information about that. So for the time being, since I'm only level 3 and I can't go get my cool starship yet, although I won't be able to use it until level 30 and then level 50, because you get 2 Ambassador class starships, which are the starship from the Next Generation episode, the 2-part episode called Yesterday's Enterprise, where they find the Enterprise C. So, anyways, where I'm at today, we can do a couple of different things. I've still got the needs of the many, which is to deliver the aid to a needy system. I'm actually going to go ahead and drop that, because that's a pain in the butt, and it's not all that interesting. I showed you the unexplored regions last time, so I don't really need to mess around a whole lot with that. So in progress. Oh, just as a net, anytime there's some interesting interesting events going on, quite frequently they'll post a little ad over here on your this window here, and if you click on it, it'll tell you what the event is, but it'll also tell you that you can transwarp, and that'll get you right back to Starbase. That transwarp has no cooldown, and it's really handy for getting around. So, what was I doing? Oh, we're going to drop this quest. So, to drop a quest, you just go in, click on the quest, and then there's a drop button. Because that one's not all that interesting. Yeah. I'm going to hold off on doing the scientific mandate because that one's also kind of boring, and I'd actually like to get a little more leveling done on this character because I'd like to go get the starship before the event ends in a couple of weeks. So, hide and seek. We need to go to the Lackey system. So I am going to beam up to my ship, the USS Voila. See, in Roger's home language, voila actually means something along the lines of the most destructive force on the universe. So, yeah, whatever. That's not really the case because I don't know Roger's language because it's just a made-up alien, and, well, this is definitely not the most destructive force in the universe ship because it's not all that great. Low-level ships are low-level. One thing I'll show you real quick is if you look next to hide and seek in your little quest window over on the side under your mini-map, there's a little icon. If you are in the same sector, same zone as the mission, you can basically just click this and it'll automatically fly you over to where that mission is. If you look on your mini-map, it's down in the middle part of the Sirius sector. If it is in a different sector, you can choose to transwarp there. And it will cost you some energy credits. And the low-level quests are fairly cheap to do. The high-level quests start getting a little expensive to transwarp. And that transwarp is also not on a cooldown. The only cooldown transwarps are the ones that you would use for your transwarp button, Fleet Starbase, Sol, and then there's several other sectors you can get as you raise up your diplomatic commendation ranks, which again is something that we can't do until level 7 when we start getting duty officers. And slowly we fly across the galaxy, so I'm going to go ahead and pause until we get there so we don't waste a couple minutes. Okay, and we have arrived in the Lackey system. So I'm going to go ahead and enter, and we'll see what we need to do. We have to defend the USS Valor. The USS Valor is a ship sitting up here, It is being attacked by Bishop frigates, which are, I believe, Gorn ships. And the Valor is another low-level starting ship, so we're going to just get in here. Get some combat in. Alright. I've got a power called Jam Sensors, which I go ahead and have popped. Jam Sensors is kind of nice because it will shut the weapon. It'll basically keep them from targeting you for a few seconds, which is fairly handy. As that will allow you to, shoot them without them shooting back at you. And we pick up our loots. One thing you'll notice is in the loot I got something called a minor components. If you do PvP or elite level task force items later on in the game, your ship will take damage and you'll need to use those. You can also choose to do missions at a higher level. It gives you a little bit better XP and I think better rewards, but you can also take damage doing it that way as well. So, thank you for the exist. Our ship is on a mission to map the Paulson Nebula. Unfortunately, we failed to adequately compensate for the power drain the nebula had on our engines. We retreated from the nebula to make repairs. That's when we stumbled upon an illegal Gorn mining operation. If you hadn't showed up when you did, Lieutenant, we'd be sucking vacuum. Our chief engineer says there's no way we can make it back to a starbase. In fact, without new dilithium crystals, we're stuck. There are crystals on some of the larger asteroids here. That's why we headed for this location in the first place. If you could gather some crystals for us, we could make it to safety. Send us a hail if you have any questions about the nebula. We would be happy to share our data. Alright, so we need to gather 4 crystals. And we can see these asteroids that have these glowing things. Chances are good that's where we need to go. And look, beam dilithium crystals aboard. So we click it. And we have some crystals. We have 1 of 4. So we will head up to this one next. There's a ship. Actually, let's go take care of this. There's a Tuatora cruiser, which is also a Gorn ship. Now, you'll notice we have the beam dilithium crystals aboard button, so we could try beaming them. Unfortunately, if we try beaming while we're in combat, you'll see that the little status bar immediately ends as soon as we take some damage. So you have to wait until you're out of combat, or at least until you're not taking damage any longer to do anything along those lines. Kind of a pain in the butt, although it does mean that when you're partnered up with some folks... Oh, and I'm getting hit with some mines. But it does mean that when you're partnered up with some folks, you can actually potentially have them draw the enemy away so that you can try to use whatever it is. You can sneak in the back door, grab the loot, and run, so to speak. You still usually have to fight and blow up whatever it is you're, dealing with, but... Oh, this was the first one we went to. So we've got that one, we've got that one. We've got these 2 in the back over here still. So let's head up here. There's actually 2 beam crystals aboard, so we're close enough to one of the other ones. We got all 4. So we've got them all. Now we have to deliver them to the Valor, and... Well, I could see it briefly before it went out of range. Oh, somebody's shooting at the Valor again, so I'm going to have to rescue it once more. So we're going to pop some high-yield torpedoes, and we're going to go in and we're going to shoot down another Tuatora cruiser. Go broadside, so we can get them with both. Now, like I said, since I have the torpedoes and they have such a narrow range, it's not a bad idea to swing forward every now and then go back so that I can get my broadside some more. I'm going to actually swing around this way and try to catch them from the other direction. Since these shields are... And if I pop in the evasive maneuvers, that'll let me get in a little bit better. Yeah, evasive maneuvers is nice because it gives you a speed boost, and it lets you it gives you a much better turning radius. It only lasts for a few seconds, but it is a really nice little power. Alright, so let's head over back to the Valor, and I can talk to him now. We are in your debt, voila! This is enough dilithium to get our warp engines restarted. After we finish preliminary repairs, we'll set course for Starbase 157. If you want to go to the Paulson Nebula, your engines will need a boost. I recommend you visit Lackey 3. The Gorn drove out the Federation miners there and took over a decalithium processing facility. It's only fair that you take some of our crystals back. So we're going to go raid a mining facility that used to be Federation, is now Gorn, because yo-ho-ho, a pirate's life for me, apparently. And there we go. A little bit of lag. Alright. Well, the big facility up there is probably the decalithium refinery. So we're going to move in and get into some combat. And like I said, unfortunately combat at this level is a little bit slow. It's still fun. I enjoy it a lot. But it is a lot more fun when you have a faster, more heavily armed ship and you can really just get in there and you can do some damage, and combat is a lot faster and a lot more exciting. Granted, it is also a lot more dangerous because, you know, if you're not careful, you can get yourself in trouble and your shield and your ship will go down really quick because the enemies also have bigger, faster, stronger ships. But, like I said, it's a lot more fun and a lot more exciting. But you gotta earn it. So until then, you're in the little shippy doing a little bit of damage. Alright, so we need to attempt to beam the decalithium up from the Gorn Refinery. Ooh, and I got a little too close to that. Fortunately, these low-level ships do not do a whole lot of damage. When you get up to the higher levels, though, some of the larger ships, when they go boom, oof, they will wipe you out. You do not want to be sitting next to a Borg cube when it goes boom. Alright, beam decalithium crystals aboard. What? We can't get a lock on it. It appears the Gorn have some sort of sensor jamming device on one of the nearby asteroids. The computer indicates the technology may be Klingon in origin. I'll begin scanning for any suspicious tachyon emissions. Captain, there may be people inside the jamming station. We need to destroy it to get the decalithium, but if we beam spatial charges down, it should give anyone inside enough time to escape. We've transported a warning to the jamming station. The charges are prepared, and we can beam them down. Alright. So the jamming station is... Oh, it's this little building down here to the south, right next to this Tuatori. So we got another ship to kill. Because that's exactly what the Starfleet is all about. Flying into a system, killing everybody in our way, and taking what we want. Yeah, apparently I'm from the Mirror Universe. Because that's not what most Star Trek episodes were like. But, to be fair, you know, coming in here and negotiating with the Gorn, not all that interesting. Alright, so... Oh, I got mines. Can I see any more? Nope, okay. Beam explosives to the jamming station. Oh, boom. Alright, now we can go back to the refining facility. Oh, and there's another Tuatari. Alright, beam decalithium crystals aboard. Oh, and fortunately again, low levels, the mines aren't that dangerous. High levels, mines can be a little bit more annoying. Alright, so now we can warp to the Paulson Nebula. Scanners show the amount of metallic density in this region is much higher than would be expected for a nebula of this class. There's definitely something big here, and it might be hidden on another high-density object. We should scan all high-density objects in the vicinity. Alrighty, well, there's a ruined mine directly ahead, and of course there's some Gorn right above it, so that right there is ringing my suspicious bells. So we will go in and self-righteously blow these guys up because we want their stuff or something. One of the nice things, though, is that if you can catch another ship right next to a buddy when their buddy explodes, they will take significant damage usually. So you can catch them when they're all grouped up together and destroy one of them. You can use that explosion to do to weaken the others. It's kind of nice. Alright, so let's scan the ruined mine. And we are scanned, 1 of 5. So there is, yep. I'm guessing the tall pillar thingy that we see in the distance is our next target. I'm going to ignore the anomalous technological reading because I don't really care about the data samples. Yeah, we'll throw out the grappler. I tend to forget I have it sometimes. Alright, we pick up our loot, and this is a disabled satellite apparently. You can see the name up to the top of my screen there, but it's not quite in the right location because it looks like it's up there, but the actual satellite is down here. That happens occasionally. I'm not entirely sure why. Alright. There we go. One nice thing is sometimes they do this, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the suspicious objects will be... And the fun part is the circle is supposed to be our area of activity. And you'll notice that pretty much all the suspicious activity is on the outside of it, which is just wonderful. I don't know if they moved stuff at some point and never got around to fixing that, or, you know, what. But you'll find that occasionally, too, which is just amusing. If occasionally a little bit annoying, because you're searching for your targets inside that area, but then, you know, if it's not actually inside that area, you're searching futilely. Oh! Ooh, where did you come from? Apparently cloaked. Oh, and nice. Tractoring me. So we're going to pop evasive maneuvers to get myself some distance now that I'm not tractored anymore. Man, I am slow. Alright. We'll come about, do some damage to the shields, drop some torps. Alright, one of my other powers I have here is emergency power to shields. And I'm not really in any sort of danger, but I'm going to go ahead and pop it anyways, just so you can see. Whoop. It does a heal to all shield facings, which is handy. Alright, so we're going to go scan the derelict hulk. And then we've got one more, which is going to be that enormous asteroid. Guarded by something else. So we're going to head over. Oh, and a Raptor escort. So we actually have our first Klingon involved in here. So it's not just Gorn. There's more involved. Oh, in mines. There's a lot of mines. They're actually doing a bit of a damage to me. I'm actually starting to regret that I popped that shield hull when I did. Alright. Hey, you can see I actually took a bit of damage. I was down to 77% hull. That's pretty impressive for this level. Alright. We're going to scan the enormous asteroid now that we're out of combat. Oh, and they found something. I think you'll be interested in the results of the sensor sweep. The asteroid is surrounded by gravitic mines of Klingon manufacture. What's more, there appears to be some kind of structure in the surface, and we've detected several Klingon life signs. Infiltrate, and then beam down. Alright, I gotta get a little closer to the station so I can beam down. There we go. And we'll take our 3 bridge officers and our security guy, because I still haven't gotten a 4th officer. I may have to fix that here shortly, since I have one I can technically pick up. Alright, so continue. Oh, and look, Klingons. There we go. Shoot first, ask questions later. We'll lay down some mines. And of course, the Klingon ran right through them and did not set any off. It figures. Alright, we grab all of our loot. And transmit data. so the upgrade's going to take a minute, and we need to defend the computer core. A little late with the grenade there, Corpsa. Alright. We have to defend it for 1 minute. 34, 33, 32, 30. I expect we'll have another beam in of Klingons here any second, because that's what I'd do. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe it's just the one group and, oh, no. Ha! Spoke too soon. It's been a while since I've actually done this quest, so I don't remember all the details. Alright. We got loot. And we've finished the mission and got an accolade. Alright, so... let's depart system, because we're done here. Alright, so... let's hail Starfleet. We're going to get skill points, some expertise, green impulse engine, and a green phaser pistol. Sweet.
Congratulations, Lieutenant.
And of course we're going to level. Ooh, that was a good one because we shot right past level 3 or level 4 and into level 5. So nice. All right, the next mission is stop the signal. We're going to go ahead and take that. Okay, we'll take this as well because it's a tutorial quest. Alright, so, as you level up, actually, if you open up, if you go to the top of your screen, top left, you'll see that there's a spot that has your current rank and level. Mine says Lieutenant 5. You'll see it's highlighted with my mouse over it, although you can't see my mouse. So if I open that up, that actually tells me each of my levels and what I get at that level. So at level 2, I got access to Memory Alpha, Patrol Missions, and Outreach. At level 4, I got a new power, Target Optics, it's ground power. At level 5, I unlocked PvP if I wanted to do it, and Bridge Officer. So you'll see New Officer. So I'm going to hail Starfleet, and they will send me a new Bridge Officer. I can choose a Saurian Science Officer, a Bolian Tactical Officer, or a Bolian Engineering Officer. I am fond of engineering officers, and since I'm also an engineer, I can do fun things with them. So I'm going to go ahead and take the engineering officer for now. So I can collect him. His name is Chalks, and I'm going to... Now you'll notice there's also a train-up option. I'm going to click it real quick, but I'm not going to actually use it. What the train-up option does is it allows him to train any of the abilities that he knows onto a bridge officer I already have. So sometimes you'll get a bridge officer that you don't necessarily want to take and put on your crew, but he has a cool skill that you want to train, you want to use on one of your other characters. It'll replace whatever skill they have at that level for your old officer, but it's a useful way to train up for free. All right, but I'm not going to do that because I actually want him. So now I clicked cancel, or I clicked cancel on that, so I didn't train up, but I don't actually have him yet. He is currently sitting in my bridge officer candidates. You will, as you collect bridge officers, they'll go over to here first, unless they join up. And from here, you can trade them to other players. You can sell them on the exchange, a little slave trading, I suppose, or you can use them to train up your other officers. So I'm going to click. And you'll also notice he's green quality. The reason he's green quality is some of his skills will actually be a little bit better than normal. Specifically his trait skills, things like his corrosive blood and creative or whatever. He has a chance to have a slightly better than average skill selection. So join. I'm not going to rename him, and I'm not going to change his uniform right now. So okay. So I now have my last bridge officer. Well, my 4th bridge officer. It's the last one I can take for now because I only have the 4 slots. Eventually, I'll get some extra slots. But my ship only has 3 slots, so I can't slot them there. But I can set them up as my away team. There we go. Now, the other thing, I haven't done this in a while, so we're going to go check out my skills. I have 11,000 skill points available. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to bump up some skills. One of the first skills that's useful to put is, well, it depends on what you want to do. As I talked about last time, Starship attack patterns really only useful if you're a tactical officer. Engineering, which I am, you've got driver coil, which gives you starship warp speed and turn rate in sector space. This I actually love just because I hate travel times. I hate traveling around in games because it's so slow sometimes. It just seems like such a waste of time. I mean, I get it. I know why they do it. It's the whole immersion thing, but at the same time, anything I can do to make myself go a little faster, I like to do. So that's a good one to take. Starship batteries, those are things like the shield and weapon batteries that I have on this. The power, you get more power and they last longer if you have a higher Starship battery skill. I generally don't tend to particularly care about that skill. I almost never take it. Starship hull repair, on the other hand, improves all Starship hull repair and healing abilities. To give you some examples, you also get the ability to train up a higher level of hazard emitters on your characters, which is really useful. Hazard emitters is a heal over time, plus it will remove things like plasma fire, which is a damage over time. So it's a really, really useful skill. And since I'm an engineer, I'm going to get healing skills, and I'm going to be utilizing healing skills on my ships, because I will probably be taking engineering-based ships, which have more engineering bridge officer slots. So my first power I'm going to actually take is Starship flow repair, or hull repair. And we're going to put 6 points into that. And again, like I said in the earlier tutorial, a walkthrough video, you don't want to go to 9 yet. Eventually I will go to 9 on this one, but until I'm happy with where my skill points go, until I know I've got a good balance, I'm going to wait until later on in the game. And then the other 2 powers I have are Starship flow capacitors and Starship shield emitters. Flow capacitors affect your Starship shield and energy drain abilities. These are things like tachyon beam, energy siphon, charge particle burst. Those are mainly science skills, and of course you can get access to some of those through science bridge officers. But unless that's going to be a large focus of your character, I wouldn't suggest putting points into it. Starship shield emitters improves all Starship shield repair and healing abilities. Again, this is mostly a science. Those are mostly science-based skills. However, since I'm going to probably play a more tanky character with this as an engineer, you rely on having a big, heavy ship, lots of hull, and you want ways to heal yourself if you're playing that style. And that's the style I'm going to be playing, so I'm going to go ahead and put a couple more points into that. Now, one thing you'll notice is I've put points into it, and I can no longer increase. However, I still have 2,000 skill points. I should be able to increase. That is because there is a limit to how many points you can spend on space and how many on ground at each level. I currently have 2,000. So I could pump a couple more points into my ground skills. I could alternately save them until next level, in which case my space skills points will bump up a little bit more. But I do need to spend some points into ground skills. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple more points into weapon proficiency. I'm going to click accept. Alright, let's go take a look. I also have 2,700 skill points for my bridge officers. I forgot I put points in a photon grenade for her. Alright, she's got engineering team, she's got emergency power to shields. Alright, emergency power to shields, as I showed you, gives you a shield hull. A shield heal. Engineering team, on the other hand, is a hull heal. I tend to find shields, especially for just general PvP, is a little bit more critical, because as long as your shields are up, things like torpedoes don't do as much damage to you. So I tend to like having shields. So I'm going to keep her slotted as a bridge officer. But I'm not going to put any points into that yet, because the first one I'm going to put into is high yield torpedo. Now, I don't remember if I actually talked about this, so I'll cover it real quick again. The pointing points into the bridge officer skills does not increase what that skill does. So this doesn't make putting points into this does not make my high yield torpedoes any more powerful. However, what it does do is it reduces their cooldown time. Her high yield torpedo skill started off at a 2-minute cooldown, which meant I can only use it once every 2 minutes. Putting 9 ranks into it drops the recharge time from 2 minutes to 30 seconds, which is really nice. Which means I'll be able to fire those off a lot faster. So we're going to accept that. And then I do still have 776 more points. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to emergency power to shields. Yeah, and I am going to see, right now it's at a 1 minute 25 second recharge. I put 1 point into it, 1 minute 20, 1 minute 15, 1 minute 10. Not fantastic, but by the end of it, it'll be down to like 30 seconds as well, or 45 seconds, something like that. Each skill's a little bit different. So there we go. That's what we're doing. I'm going to call it here. Thank you for watching. Next time when we come back, we're going to go try to stop the signal at the Bomari system. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.